Greetings. My name is James Wilkinson, and I am one of the co-artistic directors of Exiled Theater, a Boston-based fringe theater company. On behalf of the entire team, I would like to welcome you to our theater in the time of the coronavirus series. This is going to be a collection of short theater plays that have been recorded via Zoom and are being presented via YouTube for your viewing pleasure while we're all stuck at home. The play you're about to watch is titled Hanging Tree, and it's a ghostly little tale for you to ponder in quieter moments. After the play, I'm going to quickly come back and say a few words about how you can support both Exiled Theater and the Boston theater community at this time, so please stick around for that. But first, thank you for joining us, and please enjoy Hanging Tree.
Connor and I broke up sometime around January. This isn't about him. I mean, well, okay. I know you're probably not going to believe that, but it's true. I mean, okay, look, he broke up with me, but if you gave it another month, I probably would have broken up with him. You know, we had just sort of reached that point in the relationship where, it's over and you know, and you know, and so you give up. So you just go your separate ways. And he just got to that fork in the road before I did. That's all. So, yeah, and yes, I was sad at first, but, I didn't miss it. Okay. I am not telling one of those stories where you get to blame it on the psychology of it's not about him, Connor. It's not even part of the story. I mean, he's more like on the periphery, like out on the edges of the story, the periphery. I'm fine. I mean, I am. It's good. It's a good place for him, the periphery. It's just that the only reason I have to bring him up is at all. I mean, he wasn't even there for the ghostly part of it. It just, he was the one who looked out my bedroom window, saw the tree, and said, "Looks like a hanging tree." Pause for effect. The statement will become relevant in a few minutes. See, I was moving into a new house and Connor was helping. And he was referring to that if you looked out my bedroom window, between the back of the house and the woods, there's a clearing. And in that clearing is a rather large sycamore tree with these big branches that about 10 feet off the ground, and that makes them like the perfect height to hang someone from. And these are the kinds of things that Connor would notice and point out on a regular basis, which is probably why it's a good thing that he's out of my life. Anywho, I should also say that the house is one of those really old New England style houses that was probably, built around the time that they had public hangings every time a woman gave someone a dirty look. I mean, everything in my house is old. It's like, we know that if we remove the floor and the baseboards, that you're going to find rot under them. So we just leave everything, where it is in the hopes that we'll die before it becomes noticeable. And then it's the next owner's problem, right? Practically guaranteed to be haunted. And here's the trick. And it's why it's so important that you believe when I say that the breakup had nothing to do with this. Because there was no connection, right? It wasn't like we broke up and then the next day I started seeing this ghost or whatever. The whole episode didn't even start on a significant anniversary or his favorite day of the week. It was just a day in March. And on this day in March, I woke up probably around sunrise, facing the window. I opened my eyes, saw the tree off in the field, and the thought, it's hanging day, just popped into my head. Like there was no control or buildup or anything. Just ping, it's hanging day. And I thought to myself, what the hell does that mean? Hanging day. Odd thought to have. So I rolled over to turn away from the tree and saw that there, in my bedroom, was a man hanging from my ceiling with a noose around his neck and the other end attached to the rafters. I mean, pause for effect. And yes, I will say it again. I rolled over in bed and saw a man with a noose around his neck, the other end on my ceiling, hanging there like a chandelier. And he was so still. I mean, that's the most, the body it wasn't like swinging or anything. It just straight line. Like he'd been hanging there for a while I slept 5 feet away. And I saw his face. I mean, I got a good look. There wasn't anybody I recognized, no one I knew. He was a dead stranger hanging in my room. I mean, what does one do with that information? I'm asking. And before anyone gives me that whole, well, you were still asleep crap, let me just tell you what I did, which was to sit up, because I was kind of startled, and fall out of bed and hit the floor hard. I mean, I got back up, and he was still there, the hanging man. So I reached for my phone, and I missed out on 911 because my hands are shaking so hard. And then I look up, and he's vanished. Like, not even a pop or a ping, just gone. And so you rationalize it, right? Your first ghost sighting, you tell yourself that you were dreaming, that you imagined it, that you must be wrong. It doesn't take long, right? Soon this experience that hit you so hard, it's just felt so real and immediate in the moment, just begins to dissipate, like smoke from a match that you just waved out. And the half-life is amazing. An hour later, it's less real. An hour after that, more so. By the time you make it to lunch, it's on par with your first kiss in high school. I mean, it's all just smoke. So that's what happened the first day. This wouldn't be a story, though. A proper story can only happen once. On day 2, the same thing happens. I open my eyes at dawn. I see the tree. It's hanging day. What the hell does that mean? I turn in bed, and there he is, the same man, hanging from the neck in my bedroom. And I don't fall on the floor this time. I press myself against the headboard, and my brain goes into overdrive, and it starts repeating, you're dreaming, you're dreaming, you're dreaming, you're dreaming, you're dreaming. And I'm at the stillness of this hanging body. I mean, it's like looking at a photograph. And it can't be real. It just can't be. So I grab my alarm clock and I hurl it at this thing, expecting it to pass through and disappear, because it can't really be in my room. This thing can't really be here. But it doesn't. The alarm clock hits the body, bounces back, and the body begins to swing. And there's even a little creak from the rafters where he's tied off. I shut my eyes, I clench my fists, as if looking for something to grab onto, and I scream as loud as I can, "Go away!" And it does. I open my eyes, and the hanging man is gone. I heard it. The creak. Like I'm hearing my own voice now. It was that real. I've never done any research into the history of the house. I mean, just never, I don't know. I just didn't want to know about some previous owner's son who hung himself in my room, or about some jealous lover driven to suicide, because knowing that such a history existed, I mean, that seeing this thing was a very real possibility. And I think that's why I didn't move at first, because moving would mean acknowledging that it happened. I have to move. I saw a ghost. I mean, who does that? So after that second day, this thing, this ghost, never appeared with any sort of regularity. I mean, it did always appear in the morning, and it never really stayed for longer than 5 minutes, but never on any sort of regular basis. I mean, I'd see him 2 days in a row, and then nothing for a week, and then for a month I'd see him every other day, and then he'd be gone for 4 days, and then back for 2 days, and then back for a week, and then gone. And I'd wake up every morning scared shitless. And then by noon, the memory fades, and I'd be asking myself, what's the big deal anyway? The days that he wasn't there, I mean, Christ almighty, I don't see him, but I can feel him. I sense him. I saw him somewhere in the house, just beyond my reach. I mean, he's there. I tell you, he's there. I mean, why me, right? Because it's only me. It shouldn't it be someone? I mean, not Connor. Fuck Connor. But someone, right? I mean, why can't there just be someone? Anyone who can see this thing too. And then that way they can say, like, look, I see it too. You're not crazy. It's right there. It's okay, right? I mean, huh? Anyone? I mean, why not just get someone? I brought a guy home once. I picked him up from a bar not far away, and not because I liked him. I mean, he was a little overweight, and he smelled like cigarettes, and he was way too into nipple play for my taste, but I'd have fucked him, and I made the sounds, and I needed him there in the morning. Of course, our hanging friend didn't make an appearance that morning, but hey, at least I got a good case of crabs out of it, right? So you learn to live with it. The hole he leaves. I haven't seen my hanging man for about a week. We're in a lull. His appearance last Monday, well, okay. So I wake up, see the tree, it's hanging day. I turn over, there he is. He's not hanging from the rafters. He's lying next to me in bed, still wearing the noose. The loose end isn't tied to the rafters. It just hangs off the bed. There's this second smile where the rope has rubbed his skin raw. His eyes are open, and this is the first chance I've ever gotten to really look into them. And they're dark. It's very kind looking. In fact, I'm noticing it's actually, his face is very kind. With a smile that's warm. Who knew? And we lay there gazing at each other. And he takes his hand and gently, very gently, places it on my face. It's cold. And he leans in and kisses me. His tongue is likewise cold, but he tastes sweet. I place my hand on his face, and it's all a bit wonderful. Isn't it odd? I blink, and he's gone, like every other morning, and I'm alone in bed. I don't sense him in the house anymore. My eyes are wet. I've been crying. Postscript, I've decided to move. The house it's too empty. I mean, it's too big for me, and I'm gonna find a place that's smaller. I'm not worried about the hanging man. I don't think the thing will follow me. I mean, I can't. Can it?
Hanging Tree was written and directed by me, James Wilkinson, and featured Laura Crook as the speaker. If you'd like to know more about Exiled Theater and the work that we do, you'll find the link to our website in the description below. On that website, you'll also find information about how to donate and support the company. Now, thankfully, Exiled Theater didn't have a production plan for spring of 2020, so the COVID-19 pandemic didn't force us into any surprise cancellations. Unfortunately, there are a lot of other Boston theater companies and artists that are not so lucky. For that reason, I'm also going to provide the link for the Theater Community Benevolent Fund. For those who don't know, the Benevolent Fund provides financial relief to individual theater practitioners and nonprofit theater organizations in Greater Boston and the surrounding areas when they've experienced this unforeseen hardship. With so many local theater artists losing gigs and so many companies canceling productions due to the global pandemic, there's a lot of hardship in the community right now, so they need your support. If you can support this organization as well, know that it's greatly appreciated. If you can only support one, that's great. And if you can't support either right now, don't worry about it, but please consider doing so when you're able to. In any case, thank you for joining us for Hanging Tree. We hope you enjoyed it. Please follow Exiled Theater on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll be alerted when new play recordings in the series are released, because more are going to be released in the following weeks. So, until then.